Hey everyone, today's overview and review video is on Skull Canyon Ski Fest.
Video. Why can't I get that? No. I'm gonna redo that.
So before we begin, my name is Krissy and this is my channel 𝗬𝗓𝗏𝗦𝗢𝗏. If there is a board game out there that you would love for me to review, please let me know what that is down in the comments below. Like this video and go ahead and subscribe if you have not already. So in Skull Canyon Ski Fest, it is basically a ski resort that has been closed for a while, that has just reopened, and we're hoping that the guests have kind of forgot about the Yeti. So let's go ahead and take a look at the table and we'll go over the components that this game comes with. So this is the main board that you can play on. This side is for 2 players, the other side is for 3 and 4 players. So on the board, each player is going to place their little meeple here, their skiple, down here on the lodge. This is the starting location here. I just have 1 player here just to show you kind of what it looks like, where it's going, and all of the components for the player as well. So this is where it is going to go on the board. A bit of a setup here. We have to put the Yeti up at the top. Throughout the game, the Yeti, when you play certain cards, will move it around, stopping you from skiing down the hill and collecting your bonuses. Then we have these tokens right here. These are style bonus tokens. These are just randomly set out here. All of the cards that you can see here have an icon on it and they are colored. So you can either use the same color cards to ski down the mountain or you can use the same types. And if you can pair those same types with the hill, then you'll score double the points because of the token. And the same goes for every other one. If you can use the style with each of these hills here, then you'll be able to score double the points after you're done your run. We also have this board right here, so depending on which ski run you go through, you'll be able to place your token on top of it so that you know who has done which ski run. Now at the end of the game, this also will be scoring some victory points. Then we have gear cards here. All of them are going to cost fame tokens. Fame tokens is basically the currency within the game. Going down some ski runs will give you some fame tokens. At the end of the day, some of these options down here at the bottom of the board will give you some fame tokens. You can use those to purchase these gear cards. At the end of the game, for every 3 fame token that you have, you'll be able to collect 1 victory point and add that to your end score. So for these gear cards, they're basically some type of effect or bonus throughout the game. So this one here, Season Pass, when you ride a lift, so as one of the actions, you'll be able to ride a lift, which are these red lines right here. So you'll be able to ride one of those lifts as an action. So with Season Pass, whenever you ride a lift, you can reveal the top card of the slope deck, and if it is a Yeti, then you get to gain it to your hand. Otherwise, if it's not a Yeti card, then you just get to discard it. Yeti cards are a wild card for this, so if you are looking for a specific type to go down one of those slopes, if you're looking for a specific color to go down a slope, then you can use a Yeti instead of that specific card that you're looking for. Now, something special with Yetis, if you play 1 Yeti card with whichever run that you're trying to use, the cards in your hand that you're going to be playing as one of your actions, then it gets to trigger the Yeti. You get to move the Yeti on any of the slopes, and that basically stops any player from going down that specific slope and stops them from gaining the victory points. Now, whenever you're playing cards down to go down a run, if you use 2 Yetis, then that causes an avalanche and everybody moves down one slope and does not gain any of the victory points that you would normally collect when you complete a run. Some of these gear cards and some of the options down here will give you one of these. These are explosive tokens. These are to mimic an avalanche, and you can use this anytime during your turn if you have one, and it will cause each player to move down one of the slopes. And then you would discard it, and then there is another option in this game for a lift. So this is basically as an action, you would go up a lift. That would be an action for you. And instead of using and basically wasting one, if you have one of these lift tickets, you can either gain that from a gear card or you can gain it down here whenever at the end of the day. This is a free lift ticket, so you can basically go up the lift for free, not use one of your actions. So for gameplay, there's basically 3 different actions that you can do. For the first one, you can ride a lift. So like I was saying, the lifts are these red lines right here. This one, you would have to stop there for 1 action. and then you'd have to come down for another action. Or if you wanted to go up here, that would be one action, and then you can make your way all the way up to that lodge up there for 2 actions. Or if you wanted to take the Sunshine Express, that would just be 1 right there. We do start here, but basically this is the start line, and you can go up any of these lifts that you would want. Then the second action would be train. Every player does get their own player, and it does come with a player 8. So I'm playing with Steezy here. So the second one would be train. Now train is basically you collecting these cards that have the specific types on them, and then like I was saying that you can gain the extra points going down specific runs with those specific style bonuses on them. So now when you are training, you can collect 2 cards. Now if you do have a face up Yeti like this, it is a wild and it classifies as 2 cards. So if you wanted to take that one, that is the only card that you would be able to take. It would be replenished like that. Now, if you wanted, you could take this card. You could take any of these cards here, and then you would still be able to play or to draw another card. So you can take one from here. Even though you took this first one from here, you still cannot take the wild, because then that technically would be 3 cards or equivalent to the 3, and you wouldn't be able to do that. So for your second one, you can either draw from here or you can draw from the top of the deck. So you would end up with these cards. Now there is another way. You don't need to pick any from here. You can simply take from the top of the deck. Now if you end up with a Yeti this way, you can keep it and you can still draw from the top of the deck, or you can take any of these other ones. You still unfortunately could not take the Yeti from here. So if you ended up with 2 Yetis, so I don't have 2 Yetis here, but you could potentially, if you're drawing from the deck, you could get 2 Yetis in your hand. Now something special with these Yetis, whenever you are using your cards to go down a run, so you either want all the same color, like I have 3 of these colors and Yeti. And I was also saying if you wanted to go specific ones, you can use the style of the cards instead of the picture. Now all of them are different. You can see this one is blue with the exact same style on here. So the more that you have like that, depending on which run you want to go down, for going down a black run, you'll need 7 cards in your hand. So that is either 7 of the same colored cards or 7 of the same style cards. If you want to go down a blue one, you would need 4 cards. So technically with what I have here, I'd be able to go down a blue one because I have, again, either the 4 of the same color or 4 of the same style. So which I do have, so technically I could go down a blue run. Now for a green run, they're a little bit more easier. All you would need is either 2 of the same colored cards or 2 of the same style cards to be able to go down them. Now whenever you're doing that, you're going to be collecting some points and some fame. So now at the back of your card here, you can see here the different types of runs, the different colors, and how many cards that you will need to use to go down them. These are victory points. So if you're going down a green run, you would get 2 victory points. If you go down a blue run, you would get 4 victory points. And if you go down a black run, you would end up with 8 victory points. And you would also gain fame for going down them as well. Now this is where, if you're using the style bonus here, you would collect double. So if you go down a green run, you would collect 1 fame. If you went down a blue run, you'd collect 2 fame, and a black run would be 3 fame, which are just these tokens right here. You can collect them from here. If you go down there, then you're doubling them. And so if you went down a black run, you'd end up with 6 fame. And like I was saying, at the end of the game, for every 3 fame that you have, that equals 1 victory point. But also with the fame tokens, all the gear cards, that is the cost that you're going to be needing to pay to collect some of those cards. The higher the cost, the more victory points at the end of the game as well. So after you've taken 2 of the 3 actions, it's the next player's turn. Once all of the players have gone, you would move your track down. So basically you're playing over 3 days, and there are different times of day. So this is the morning, and then once everybody has gone, you'll move the tracker down until basically the end of the day. There is on number 1 here a special action that whenever you complete a run during this phase, you get +1 fame. So if you completed a black run, instead of ending up with 3, you would end up with a 4th one. And then once the token gets down to the end of the day, that is the end for everybody. And whoever is at the furthest down the mountain would be the first player and be able to choose any of these actions that are down here. So this is the ski village down here. You would take your token if you're first player and you would play it on the first one. And because this is the 2-player board, you would take the next person and place it here. So whoever's furthest down on the bottom would be the first player. So basically any of these are going to cost some type of cost. They're going to cost something. So for Hot Tub here, you're going to gain 3 fame, but that is going to cost you 1 card from your hand. And there's only 1 slot on here for the 2-player side. On the other side of the board, there's more spots here. If you're playing a 4-player game, then the most that you can have on any of the spots is 3 players. So if you are here, then the next player wouldn't be able to go there, and whoever is leftmost on this in the village would be the first player until you end up at the hotel here. So then the next one is yodeling. You can, for 1 fame token, you can swap any 2 of these tokens right here and gain 1 of these explosion tokens. Then we go to happy hour. This will cost 1 card and 2 fame tokens, but you may take 3 cards and you can choose from the face up deck or from the face down deck. And of course, again, keeping with the style or keeping with the theme here, wild cards do cost 2 as if they were 2 slope cards. Then for ski swap, you can gain a lift token. And again, this is a free lift instead of using a action. Instead of using an action. Then let it ride. This is going to cost 1 fame token. And of course, this lift here too will be 1 fame token. And this one is name a color, reveal 3 cards from the top of the deck. And it says, if none match, then you gain an extra 2 cards. And these ones go to your hand as well. And then for the final one, hotel. The first person at the hotel would be able to gain a gear card first. This is a little important because you get first pick at the best bonus or effect, and also a shot at getting the highest victory point if you have enough of fame tokens to be able to purchase them. So once you get here, the day is at the top here, and what the next day is the type that you're going to be able to do on this nice little track here. So the next day is this type of icon here. So you would draw 4 cards from the top of the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that goes to your hand. And then you can buy a gear card. So again, however much fame you have is what you have to purchase these cards. These are the victory points. And again, all of the bonuses and effects on here are pretty decent. So then once everybody has gone here, as many people as you want to go here, everybody gets to do that. Now for the 3rd day up here, it is snowing. And snowing, you get to draw 5 cards, plus you get to go to any lodge that you want. So this is one of them right here, and this top one up here. So with these snow ones, the snowing days, then you get to go anywhere. Those are all random. And then, so once the end of the day has been done, then you're going to flip over this marker right here to mark that it has been done. So again, the game goes over 3 days, and you go till the end of the day from morning until night. And then at the end, you're going to be counting all of your victory points that you have on your cards, tallying them up. And then whoever at the end of the game has the most points is the person who has won. Once you've gone down a ski run, you've collected all your victory points and everything, you're going to use your marker tokens here with your character on it to mark which one that you actually went down. Now, with this, you're going to be counting up your victory points at the end too. So whoever has the most tokens on here, say you've gone down multiple of them and you've got a whole bunch of tokens on here, then you would gain 4 victory points for having the most overall. If you have the most in each section, then you're going to be gaining the victory points based off of right here. Now there is a way, if another player wants to claim this and put their token on top, whenever you are using your cards to go down the run, so for a green one, you only need 2 cards. If you want to place your token on top of the other players to claim that so that you have the most tokens over there, you would need to pay 1 extra card to place your token on top of it. And then if another player wants to put theirs on top, it doesn't matter how many cards or how many tokens are on that board. You count how many, and that's how many extra cards that you're going to need to play to be able to gain that spot again. So overall, I really like this game. I feel like I start all of my reviews like that, but this is the very first ski theme game that we have and that we have played. And this is actually my very first time skiing, because I have never skied. So overall, the experience was really, really good. I did enjoy it, real or not. The game was really, really fun. It's a little bit of a lighter game. There's still a little bit of thinky going on with this game because of the cards that you need, and depending on how you go up and which way to go down. And of course, if there is an avalanche that happens, then it kind of foils your plans a little bit. So a little thinky, but overall a pretty light game, a pretty fun game. Really like how everything is designed with the game. Everything flows really well. I have only played this game at 2 players. I really want to play this game with more players because on the other side of the board, there's actually more ski runs that you can go down. So I feel like that would be just a little bit more interesting. Something about the game though, I really wish that the Yeti played maybe a little bit more of a role with this game. I didn't find that the cards kind of came up enough so that it actually affected it. It does just move the Yeti around on the board to kind of stop the players from going down specific runs. Usually I would put it on the black runs because those are worth 8 victory points, and then you end up with a little bit more fame tokens too. So Nick would always get the really good gear cards with the most victory points on it and score those at the end, and he'd end up always winning. So I kind of would do that, but then also I was really good at getting the card types to go down the specific runs. And because it's always 8 victory points, I kind of wanted to do the black runs myself. And you're kind of limited to the 2 actions per turn. So if you wanted to go up, all the way up to the top to come down, you're kind of wasting a little bit more actions. So it would take you a little bit longer, and the game is pretty quick. It goes over 3 days, and each day has 4 time slots, so it goes from morning to night. So the game went by really quickly, and so moving the Yeti around on the black slopes for me wasn't necessarily the best thing that I was doing. It kind of hindered my gameplay a little bit, so I feel like the more that we've played, the more I've learned with the game. But yeah, I wish overall, since it's kind of, you know, Skull Canyon, it's a ski fest, the ski resort was closed, the Yeti, we're really hoping that everybody kind of forgot about the Yeti. Kind of feel like the Yeti should have played maybe a little bit more of a bigger part. I did really like the avalanche too. The avalanche kind of helped me out a little bit. I really like the explosive tokens for that versus using like 2 wilds. You don't really want to take the wilds that are face up because then you only get 1 card instead of 2 cards, and the more cards the better, because then you can go down more runs. So I like the explosive tokens for that because my point of view for using those is I would go up the slope and I would want to come down, and the only slopes or the only runs that I would really want to do were runs that Nick had already done so that I could cover up his token. And some of these gear cards would let you, if you were placing your token on top of another person's token on that track, it would let you do it without playing the extra card that you needed. So that paired up with just going down and the explosive tokens. So some of them that I was already on the token, I didn't need to put another token on. So I would use those explosive tokens to go down the track to get there faster because it's not using an action, so that I could get to those runs that Nick had done so that I could cover up the tokens more. Now, was that a good gameplay? I don't know, because I didn't win either. So I feel like this is a game that you need to try a bunch of different tactics with it to really find out what really works for you. But overall, I really enjoyed the game. The board is a little long, so it's hard to reach, especially recording because the way that we have it all set up. But even just playing with us, the board really does have to come pretty close. Scoring is all the way around, but yeah, the size of the board is a little long. But overall, though, still, like, just a little bit of a nitpick there. But I really did enjoy this game. It was really fun and light. It was easy to learn. And it's a fun theme, right? With the Yeti and the ski slopes. It's kind of fun. There's not too many games that we have that are like an actual outdoor sport. So it was nice to kind of try a different theme for once. So again, we really enjoyed it. It was a pretty good Pandasaurus game if you're into Pandasaurus, or if you're even just like a ski theme or this type of game. If it seems interesting, definitely check it out. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you next time.